Psych, it'll be a few more pages. Dave, get trolled by Greg. Teal. Teal says, Dave, what's it smell like? And Dave says, what? And she says, your blood. And Dave says, frick off. And she says, Dave, give a little taste for me. Tell me what human blood tastes like. I've been so curious. Angry eyebrows, smiley face. He says, you're the annoying blind one, aren't you? And she says, yeah. And he says, Dave told me about you. And Teal says, gosh, too many Daves. It's like this big butthole and cool guy party. But someone forgot to invite all the cool guys. Angry eyebrows, winky eyes, smiley face. Dave says, man, I'm telling you, that burns like that are unreal. Where do you even get a burn that's that sick? She says, I bet you can't wait to be a useless piece of crap all day and fall down. All these burns? He says, no, you messed that up. And she says, Dave, this is you. This is pure Dave. And he says, you can do it. There we go. And she goes, ha 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 ha, hee 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 hee. He says, did you try to draw shades on his face and miss? What's even the point? He's already wearing shades. And she says, ha 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 ha, it's so perfect, that is so you, hee 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 hee. And he says, this is moronic. And she says, Dave, tell me what your blood smells like, or I'll make another one. And I know these hurt your feelings, angry eyebrows, happy open mouth. And he says, I don't know what it smells like or tastes like, but I sure as heck know what it looks like a freaking symphony on my retinas. Crap is beautiful, like a little vermilion picnic on my hands. Every day I open my eyes, I find poetry in even the simplest things. Just one of those little joys in life you take for granted, you know? This miraculous gift of vision. And she says, Dave, check it out. I figured it out. This has gotta be you. This is so Dave. And she says, ah, ha 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 ha, hee 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 hee, ha 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 ha. And he says, I could give myself a hernia trying to be as big a douche as that guy. I could try it, but it would wind up like a motorcycle stunt gone horribly wrong. My broken body would flop and tumble around like a rag doll. And she says, ha 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 ha, oh gosh, I can't breathe. And he says, and yet, as much as that guy's the tooliest dude I could ever hope to meet, he and I would still get along famously, 'cause we both can see. And she says, hee 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 hee, ha 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 ha. And he says, just him and me, having a sea party, like a couple of eagle-eyed bros peeping crap up into the wee hours. She says, Dave, can I come to your sea party? And he says, I guess, but you'll have to be careful not to stumble around bumping into all the gorgeous masterpieces hanging everywhere. Gosh, so beautiful I can look at with my so beautiful to look at with my perfect eyesight. She says, can I lick the paintings? And he says, yeah, that's fine. Jade, get trolled by Orange. And he says, hi. Jade, hi. Is your robot nearby? And she says, distracted by him trolling quote-unquote Dave. And he says, where you can type because you are asleep. And she says, oh, yes, it appears so. And he says, okay, in that case, are you having a pleasant nap? And she says, I guess. I've been pretty busy here. I've had to stay asleep for a long time because John is supposed to wake up soon. But he just won't wake up. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be the one to wake him up, but I don't know what to do, sad face. And he says, and she says, huh? And he says, oh, sorry. I was looking to see if I could see him be awake in the future, but I can't see in his dreams or anything. And she says, oh, well, thanks for trying anyway. And he says, but you will wake up soon, it looks like. So maybe this means you have success. And she says, I hope so. What am I doing when I wake up? And he says, oh goodness, there's too much going on and there's a lot of trouble that you are in. And she says, oh no. And he says, but what it comes down to is that you don't have much time anyway. This is your last day before you make the rift, and then I can't see what happens after that anymore, which is okay with me because, to be honest, seeing your whole big confusing future and past is kind of overwhelming. And she says, yes, I know what you mean. And he says, it's so complicated and I don't even know what I should be accomplishing. I think using these gadgets and things and my timeline advantages to play pranks on you. And she says, that sounds like it would be fun. But you guys never even played pranks on me. You were always just kind of mean, sad face open mouth. And he says, sorry, horn, sad face. I think the idiotic thing about trolling is if you use it to troll people, I think you are just as likely to get trolled yourself. Maybe even more badly, which I think is what's going on here, just between you and me. And she says, well, I know I haven't trolled you guys. Or not yet. Hehehe. And he says, no, but you sort of are. My friend is going crazy. He wants to talk to you. He left you a message a long time ago on your timeline to talk to him when your robot blows up. And she says, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Does it really blow up or was that another trick? And he says, I don't know. I can't see it blow up in your future. Not on screen. I mean, there are lots of explosions all the time anyway. Too many explosions. And she says, you could ask me in the future. And he says, okay, I will ask. Okay, you said yes, it did blow up, and you talked to him. And then you said he was actually a pretty nice guy, which I thought was weird. And she says, is he not a nice guy? And he says, not really. And she says, well maybe he's just been going through some tough times. Maybe we should give him the benefit of the doubt. And he says, And she says, for whatever it's worth, I think you're a pretty nice guy too. And he says, okay, thank you. And she says, also you seem to be the only one who ever thinks to talk to me while I'm asleep. Why is that? And he says, oh, I guess that makes sense, because you have a robot to let you say things that happen on Prospect. And I'm curious, because the only time I ever had fun playing this game was when I was asleep. But now all our dream selves are sad, horned face, crying. And she says, oh no, your dream selves can die? And he says, yeah. And she says, I never knew that, or even thought about it. I guess it makes sense though. And he says, yeah. So enjoy your nap while it lasts. Bye. Rose, get trolled by Green. Who says, hello again. Are we friends yet at this point in time? I would speculate that if we are not by now, then it is probably not to be. And Rose says, pardon? And Green says, furthermore, which Rose have you chosen to be this time? The stupid Rose or the smart Rose? And Rose says, I'm a little busy. And she says, it sounds like you are attempting to be the smart Rose this time. Please take note of the subtle scorn underlying the selection of the word attempting. Smart Rose should get a kick out of that. Smart Rose is all about subtle scorn, isn't she? And Rose says, that sounds about right. And Green says, whereas dumb Rose doesn't capitalize her letters, even when discussing the proper names of human monsters in Earth cinema, I think you should establish a greater commitment to a single role-playing scenario. Rose says, honestly, I was looking forward to playing along and reading your dumb Rose script for our next conversation. But it turned out there was a perfectly logical explanation for it all. Imagine my disappointment, while I imagine yours once you finally catch on. And Green says, I suddenly don't understand anything. What are you talking about? She says, I'd love to explain in detail and cause some sort of time paradox, but you see, and this revelation may be as startling as any, I'm a little busy. Green says, I believe I understand. It was I who did something to provoke your scorn in a previous conversation, one which I have not yet had. Rose says, yes, that is definitely a conclusion you have just now drawn. The only thing left to do is write out the next several conversations while you maintain that understanding, and while I maintain the chilly facade that you've grown to so enjoy from Smart Rose, which shouldn't be too difficult because, have I mentioned? I'm busy. Goodbye. Green says, fine. Dave, keep getting trolled by Teal. He says, Dave, I finally got it. And he says, oh, heck. He says, I finally figured it out. Once and for all. This is you. He says, Dave and bro forever. The hat and shades are close to each other. She says, ha 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 hee hee ha 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 hee ha ha ha. And he says, okay, that's pretty amazing. And she says, ah ha 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 ha. Oh gosh, it is so perfect. Just a cool dude and his bro right there, adventuring through time and playing pinball in bro heaven together. Tell me that isn't so freaking perfect. Angry eyebrows, 8 eyes, smiley mouth. And he says, hey, speaking of which, where is my bro anyway? I haven't seen him at all since I got here. Dave Sprite doesn't know. You can see everything that goes on, right? Or like smell it or whatever. How does it even work? How do you use a computer and know what's going on? It doesn't make sense. My face doesn't make sense. And she says, Dave, your face doesn't make... Dang it. And he says, ha 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 ha. And she says, but actually your face does make sense. To my nose. And tongue. Angry eyebrows. A tongue sticky outy mouth. And he says, ew. And she says, I'm sorry, Dave, that you will never experience the sensory bouquet that I enjoy every day. That I ensconce myself in like a warm and comfy bathrobe made of flavor and melody. And he says, oh, okay. So the dumbest and most far-fetched explanation imaginable. Okay, got it. And she says, anyway, I don't know where your bro is. As far as I can tell, you never see him again between now and the rift. Too bad he won't be around to bail you out again like he did when you entered. And she says, man, don't remind me about that. So embarrassing. And she says, it's okay, I won't tell John about it. I know that's what you're worried about. And he says, okay, cool. And she says, but look, you don't need to be upset about not having your bro to lean on anymore. And he says, who's upset? About time the dude gave me a little space. And she says, Blow, okay, whatever you say, but that's not the point. The point is, I will help you instead, Dave. Is that cool? Angry eyebrows, smiley face. And he says, I guess. And she says, I know everything's gonna happen to you. I can tell you before it happens, so you can be ready and not have to go back in time and get killed all the time. And stand on a toilet looking at your own blood for 10 minutes. And he says, alright, so what's next? And she says, first you go through the gate, and when you go through, you will go to another place in your wild cherry lava land, and you will quickly meet some friendly crocodiles. They will try to eat you, but that is just their way of being friendly. You shouldn't be scared. And he says, why would I be scared? She says, Dave, please, you are crying like a little boy. It's happening right here in front of my nose. Your tears taste delicious, kind of like something you wouldn't know about. A troll delicacy called cotton candy. And he says, we have cotton candy, dumb butt. And she says, angry eyebrows, 8 eyes, big open mouth. Let me make sure. Heck, I want this to run properly, and my computer is being a little laggy. So just wait for this cool loading bar, and hopefully that will fix it. Sound, descend. Caw-caw. Snoopy sorta. Reckoning. Day 413. End of Act 4. Z. Rose. Egress. This is my final entry. My co-players and I have made every earnest attempt, with occasional relapse, to play this game the right way. I have been meticulous in documenting the process to help our peers and successors through the trials should we fail. In my hubris, I believe these classes were regulated to the earthbound, but in even this quaint supposition, I was in error. Our otherworldly antagonists have assured us of our inevitable failure repeatedly, while the gods whisper corroboration in my sleep. I believe them now. I just blew up my first gate. I'm not sure why I did it, really. I'm not playing by the rules anymore. I will fly around this candy-coated rock and comb the white sand until I find answers. No one can tell me our fate can't be repaired. We've come too far. I jumped out of the way of a burning freaking tree for gosh sake. I have used a spell to rip this walkthrough from Earth's decaying network and sealed it on one of the servers floating in the furthest ring. The gods may disperse the signal throughout the cosmos as they wish. Perhaps it will be of use to the past or future species who, like us, have been ensnared by Skya's malevolent tendrils. In case it wasn't clear, magic is real. Pardon my egress. You're on your own now. RL. Hours in the future. The war-weary calls another broken planet home. Another cloth his garb, land and rags for the wayward of how is this said? Villian becomes a vagabond. The recent past is recalled. An accursed mascot is located among the fallen brethren, its visage reviled. A rag of souls drifts from the heavens, its owner a mystery. A boy finds a dead friend, her ring recovered. The boy sees himself in a cloud, his destination revealed. Hours in the future. A mistress becomes a mendicant. The recent past is recalled. A communication device is borrowed, a rendezvous arranged. The slayer is summoned, the collateral presented. Snap. The droll is beckoned, the bargain honored. The boy finds the castle, his courier's path crossed. Woof. The mail is delivered, an obligation satisfied. The package is opened, letters read. John. From what I hear tell, you've been through a bit of an endeavor by the time you're reading this. That's so great. I love adventure, and I would bet my bottom boonbuck you do too. I think we're birds of a feather, John. I am pretty eager to meet you. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned, we're gonna meet someday. I hear you like movies, is that right, John? I love movies too. Have you ever seen Weekend at Bernie's? So friggin' hilarious. It's hard to talk to Jade about movies, because she doesn't really know about movies. But I'm sure you know that. Boring. Ha. Just kidding, Jade. You know I love you, and I think you're a blast. Okay, speaking of Jade, we spent quite a long time working on this present for you. It was a big team effort. Okay, I had to do quite a lot of arm twisting to get her to go along with helping me make such an oddball present for you, and so well in advance. But I had my arm sort of twisted myself to get this going in the first place. But then she came around to the idea because she can see the future. Pretty amazing if you ask me. It'll all be clear later. Gadzooks, with all this arm twisting I've been getting a good workout. We should wrestle when we meet, John. I love to wrestle, but I don't get a chance to wrestle with anyone that much. Do you like to get into fisticuffs, John? Scrums and whatnot? Me too. Anyway, you should listen to Jade from here on out, John, because she sure seems to know what's best for you. Whatever your adventure throws at you, I'm sure she'll tell you you can handle it. She believes in you. There's another page to this letter. There is another letter from a different author. Dear John, happy birthday. Oh, kicking Christ in a dirty diaper, I almost forgot to mention what's in this box. Sorry this crap's so small. I mean, obviously it's small. Contents. Royal something. Dairy knower, quills of something else. Dear John, happy birthday. Even though it's super late. Oh, smiley face, open mouth. Even though it's super late and you probably went through a lot of trouble to get it, I really hope this present cheers you up. You look so sad while you were reading my letter. Which is to say, the one you're reading now. I can explain. You see, when I go to sleep, in my dreams, I wake up on the moon of a planet called Prospect. By now you must know about this place. I've lived there in my dreams most of my life, and made so many friends there over the years. And you were there too, but you were asleep. The fact That you're awake now, I think means all my friends are in trouble. You're awake because it's your job to help them. We will both help them. But, I know these things because while it was on the moon, whatever whenever it passed through Skya, I could see lots of things in the clouds. The past, the future, stuff about our friends, and stuff about you. Now that you're awake, and apparently at the center of Skya, question mark, question mark, question mark, wow! You should have been able to see stuff in the clouds too. Maybe you already have. About this present, my pen pal helped me work on it. He included a letter too. He's really funny and silly. I like him a lot. And I think you would too. It took a long time between the two of us, and sure, the present looks like a fun and completely ridiculous thing to get, but it is also really important. You're getting exactly when you need it most. Maybe that's hard to believe, but it's true. I saw it happen already. I don't see everything, John, and I definitely don't know everything that's going to happen. But when I do know something, I always try my best to help people in the future. When I'm supposed to, that is. You'll get the hang of it. John, I am really looking forward to seeing you when you wake up. It's been nice playing with my Prospertin friends and all, but also kind of lonely knowing you were in the other tower sleeping and having lousy dreams, sad face. I'm not sure where I am when you're reading this, but I'm sure I'll make it down to where you are soon. Geez, how did you get down there? Oh well, I'll find out. I can't wait to fly around the moon with you and show you all my favorite places. It'll be so much fun. Happy face, open mouth. Love, Jade. The boy's grief is interrupted. His ring sought. The toy has taken a new master, the tactician, a misstep. Check. Hours in the future, a regulator becomes a renegade. The recent past is recalled. A temple is fled and soon revisited. A nearby laboratory is also revisited, its satellites dispatched. A sleeping boy is found, rumbling, ominous. The lab is in flight. It exits inoperative. Another public servant makes a sacrifice, a citizen's safety secured. A tyrant is retreating, a battleship landing. A grandfather mourns, a family tradition honored. A queen mourns, a kingdom bid farewell. Hours in the future. Her journey through the windswept must be walked alone. Her entourage bid farewell. A queen becomes a questant. And then years. A key is employed. A command station repaired. Serenity says, "Oh my." There's another cloud. And inside, a dark laboratory, unused for years. And inside, a fourth wall. Dog is labeled as Harley. Pilfered from a bureaucrat's office and absconded with years ago. It isn't turned on, but if it was, this is almost certainly what we would see. Recap 2, not reading it. Tap, tap, bang, 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 bang. Act 5. Elsewhere in Paradox Space, we examine another planet forgotten by time, but we will strive to remember. What was this planet's name? Enter name. Blah 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 blah. Oh ha ha, nice one, Smarty Pants, really hilarious. But let's get real here, no more clowning around. Try again. That's much better. In fact, as it happens, your guess is precisely correct. What are the odds? We examined the planet Alternia. Somewhere on this planet, there is a young troll, Hive Bent. This young troll stands in his respite block. It just so happens that today, the 12th bilunar perigee of the 6th dark season's equinox is the day of this young troll's larval awakening, also known as his wriggling day. Though it was 6 solar sweeps ago he was given life, it is only today he will be given a name. 6 Alternian solar sweeps, for convenient reference, is equivalent to 13 Earth years. Also, for convenient reference, is a planet that does not exist yet, Earth. What will the name of this young troll be? Enter name. You enter something predictably derogatory, and this guy gets fed up by your shenanigans in record time. This guy has a lot of troll pals, and their adventures are going to be quite extensive and convoluted, to an even greater degree than one perhaps may be accustomed. He thinks that if you think that we have time to drag out every little gag and expected pattern along the way, you've got another thing coming. He thinks you should cram that sobering understanding in your chitinous wind hull and tamp it down hard with your ugly, stupid-looking cartilage nub. Try again. Your name is Karkat Vantas. As was previously mentioned, it is your wriggling day, which is barely even worth mentioning. It is an anniversary, if anything, to lament the faults of your existence, of which there are assuredly plenty. Equally plenty, and somewhat related to the topic, are your interests. You have a passion for ridiculously terrible romantic movies and rom-coms. You should really be embarrassed for liking this dreadful cinema, but for some reason you're not. You like to program computers, but you're notoriously pretty awful about it. Your programs invariably damage the machines on which they are executed, which is just as well, since you like to believe you specialize in computer viruses. When you mature, you aspire to join the ranks of the most lethal members of your society, like the Threshocutioners. You like to practice with your really cool sickle, but just winding up looking like kind of a doofus by yourself in your room. You like to chat with some of your other troll pals, most of which drive you bat crap up the freaking belfry. You have been trying out a new chat client beta called Trollian, and you're not really sure what to think about it yet. Your troll tag is carcinogenicist, and you speak in a manner that is almost exclusively ornery all the time. Later, you will play a game with 5 other friends and go on a big adventure with them. This game, for convenient reference, is a game that does not yet exist, but it will soon. What will you do? Karkat examines slimy purple pod. It is your recupercoon, full of nourishing soper slime. Soper. Every young troll enjoys the cozy embrace of such a vessel each night, and the relaxing ooze helps assuage the terrible visions of blood and carnage that plague the dark subconscious of your species. It is so inviting. A few minutes couldn't hurt. Karkat, get in. Okay, this sure is cozy and all, but you can't be napping all day like a chump. Dang it, you're a busy guy. You're sort of a big deal. Gosh dang slime. Now you have to change your clothes too. What were you thinking? Luckily, all your clothes are the same. Trolls think fashion is stupid. Karkat, examine movie posters. Okay, time to get serious here. Sweet troll Gigas. Let's get real and get down to some major business. You space out and get caught up reading the titles of the films for about 5 minutes. Wow, these movies are great. You don't care what anyone says. Pure magic. What? Is that Is that John Cusack? The thing most people don't realize is that John Cusack is a universal constant. Next arrow, but it's really long. This movie, okay, this one even you have a hard time defending, but still, it's so good. The best thing about it is how Troll Sandler doesn't make you want to punch anything. Like nothing at all. Really hard or anything. Carcat Capture Log Sickle. You grab your trusty sickle with your encryption modus. To retrieve it, you'll need to hack the code to open the card vault left behind. This will obviously prove to be a completely ridiculous and untenable way of managing your inventory, and lead to a great many follies. Later on, you would swap your modus with your hacker friend, a guy who, unlike you, happens to be competent with programming. It would only make sense. But for the time being, it makes your life kind of a nightmare. There are so many stupid things that happen because of this modus. So many. You just have no idea. Carcat, take card vault. Gosh, dang it! You hear some unhappy grumbling through the hole below. This was not the coolest thing you could have done just now. Carcat, examine large black book. You make quite sure not to capture log it and simply pick it up and read it. A handbook for the imminently deceased. Chapter 1. Prepare your ath file, dig your grave. A bone to pick, for death begins with life's first breath, and life begins at the touch of death, says Troll Will Smith. There's a thick programming manual called Ath, a handbook for the imminently deceased. Ath is an insufferable language to work with. Its logic is composed of nothing but infinite loops, or at best, loops of effectively interminable construction. The above page in the intro section documents the simplest possible Ath code structure. Any code deviating from this basic structure will not compile. You have a whole bunch of code samples you've been messing around with on your computer. It's frustrating at best and debilitating to your machine at worst. Carcat, leave your room. You step out of your respite block onto one of your hive's numerous extraterrestrial landing slats. You were allowed to design this hive when you were young, after you emerged victorious from your trials deep in the brooding caverns. You have lived here with your custodian ever since. It's almost as if your people have placed great cultural importance on teaching children to become architecturally adept while very young. It has been this way since ancient times. No one seems to know why that is. Getting to build your own hive at a young age using whatever meandering design you chose likely has left you jaded to the notion of customizing your abode. You certainly wouldn't get all that worked up about a game that happened to allow you to do such a thing. At least not for that reason. Carcat, examine neighborhood. Big eyes. Hive bent. The lawn rings are empty. Blood skims the voids in your porous cranial plates as if grazing the hollow of a threshed stem, or to say, an abandoned cocoon. A sour note is produced. It's the one agitation plays to make its audience squirm. It is your 6th wriggling day, and as with all 5 preceding it, blah 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 blah. Look, you don't have time for fancy poetry. It's almost as useless as those arm-swing flappy things on mailboxes, assuming you even knew what those were, which you don't. Trolls don't have mail. Mail is almost as useless as poetry to them. Poetry is the swing, arm, flappy dealy of words, and mail is the red, tilty lever doodad of people giving a crap. Frankly, you don't know about things skimming voids or grazing hollows or whatever. You've got ambition. You were meant to be a big shot, to be in charge of something huge and really important, and to be totally ruthless about it. You just haven't found the dominion in which you're destined for greatness yet, or even a vague concept of it. You haven't found your purpose, but you will tonight. You stew in your own impotent aggravation in the cool dusk breeze. During the dark seasons, it remains dusk for most of the day. It can stay dark for many bilunar perigees. That surely isn't the way that's said. At a time. Hello. But even if it didn't, you would still have this feeling. You have a feeling it's gonna be a long night. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. Good girl. From Mighty Hunter. Car Cat, go back inside. Come here then. Good job, good girl. You head back into your block and hit up your computer station. No word from any of your loudmouth pals. No news is good news. Sweet music to your auricular sponge glots. Carcat Checkout Magazine. It's the latest issue of Game Grub. This one appears to boast about exclusive leaks. They all boast about that. You're not even really sure what it means. Carcat Checkout DVD. The Thresh Prince. It's a DVD of one of your favorite series, The Thresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's about a green thresh cutter cadet who sasses up the blue bloods in his flay squad pretty good. Their blood is literally blue, lousy snobs. But Troll Will Smith shows them all how to loosen up. He's pretty much your hero. Troll TV shows have shorter titles than troll movies because TV is a much newer form of media in their society, which is a good thing because it would be pretty hard to make this funny joke otherwise. Carcat, get down to business on computer. Okay, enough messing around. Time to get some work done. Maybe a little programming or oh gosh. Can you move? It figures that installing this new beta client, chat client, would open the floodgates. All your moron friends are going to be hounding you relentlessly. Not that they needed an excuse before. You wonder what this chump wants. Carcat, answered Troll. Terminally Capricus, who says, "What's up, my inverter brother?" And Carcat, "What in the sweet almighty taint chafing frick do you want?" And Purple says, "He can't just be purple. He can be grape." Not a mother freaking thing, bro, other than checking out how my best mother freaking friend is at, yo. And Carcat says, "I really can't stand you, and I hate how you type. It just bothers me so much. Have I mentioned that?" He says, "You say it pretty much every time we talk, yeah. But I don't have to. See? But I mean, this feels so mother freaking unnatural and crap. You just want to be going what feels right. And wear your hearts up in, you know? Best friend?" And Carcat says, "I wonder what kind of crappy thing I did to deserve such an awful best friend. Or maybe what terrible thing I'm going to do and get punished for in advance. Maybe I'm just like preemptively the worst freaking piece of trash who ever lived, and I don't even know it yet. But hey, look, your friendship is exhibit A, I guess." And Grape says, "It's such a beautiful thing, this troll disease called friendship." And Carcat says, "Friendship isn't a disease, crap sponge. It's like a mistake, a big joke of nature." And Grape says, "It's a miracle." And Carcat says, "Oh no, don't. Don't start with the miracles again." And Grape says, "Man, everywhere I look, all I see is mother freaking miracles. It's so spiritual, all these miracles and crap. Okay, like, just be taking this freaking tits bottle of freaking Fago I just cracked up open, and how it's all being like hissing and crap. Mother freaking hissing, man. Who went all and told it to do that? How would it even do that? It's crazy. It's a miracle." And Carcat says, "It's carbonation, you ignorant douche. Try getting schooled sometime instead of slurping down that weird swill all day and fondling your stupid horns." Grape says, No, bro, I don't want to know. Don't even tell me. Knowing crap just steals all the freaking magic from my miracles like a mother freaking thief, and that ain't cool." Carcat says, the only miracle is that you like that disgusting sludge. Where do you even get that stuff? It's also a miracle how you dress like an imbecile and are basically the stupidest butthole I've ever known. Actually, you're right. There are miracles everywhere. I've been a fool." Grape says, "See, man, I'm straight up telling you. Miracles. It's like, alright, computers, right? What the frick? Miracles is what? And Carcat says, frick you. Frick you for me just reading that. Grape says, anyway, what's up with your bad self? For serious here. Isn't something big all going down? And Carcat says, what? Grape says, I heard something big was going all down. Just all be telling me all what mother freaking is up to and all that. Carcat says, stop saying all. Are you talking about TA's thing? And Grape says, yeah, frick yeah, man, so mysterious. I'm never getting ceased to be amazed by all these freaking mysteries life's got for us. And Carcat says, ugh. Anyway, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe I'll talk to him tonight about it. Maybe I won't. It's probably just another one of his projects. Hello, dear. That winds up being completely useless and a huge waste of my time. Grape says, yeah, maybe, but he's your best friend though, so it's all cool. Anyway, I thought this sounded like a pretty big mother freaking deal, my man. Carcat says, what? And he says, oh, bro, never mind. I just freaking did like to scare the crap out of myself here. I just freaking did like to scare. These dang horns. And Carcat says, you gotta get rid of those things. They make it more embarrassing to know you. Which is a friggin' miracle that that's even possible. Like, wow. God sure cooked up a doozy there. Twinkly-eyed son of a bitch just keeps you guessing, doesn't he? Grip says, man, you know you want to give my heart a good squeeze. Smiley face with clown nose. The Carcat says, actually, you know what will be the miracle to end all miracles? It'll be if I ever meet a kid I despise more than you. That will make me a mother freaking convert. I'll see lights so bright I'll need Teal to walk me around so I don't bump into crap. I think it's Teal, I don't remember. Sign me up for your idiotic clown religion, okay? And Grape says, ah ha ha ha, you freaking got it, brother. Whoa, what the mother freak? Oh gosh, I don't like saying that. Who's this mother freaking psychopath, crazy guy? It's cool, life is like that sometimes. It's full of mysteries. You'll be doing one thing, then something else hits you. Just like that, and you roll with it. That's what you do when life hands you lemons. You sure as frick don't make lemonade, because who the frick knows where that freaking crap comes from? It's squeezed out of miracles, is where. So what's this weirdo McGee's name? Enter your name. Your name is Gamzee Makara. You get pretty excited by clowns of a grim persuasion which may or may not be in full possession of their mental faculties. You belong to a rather obscure cult which foretells a band of rowdy and capricious minstrels which will rise one day on a mythical paradise planet that does not exist yet. The beliefs of this cult are somewhat frowned upon by those dwelling in more common lawn rings, but you don't care. You got to be going with what feels right at where your heart's up in, you know? You like it because you like to practice on your one-wheel device, which you are gosh awful at because your feet do not reach the pedals. You enjoy a fine beverage and like to do a little baking sometimes. You got all these horns all over the place, and sometimes you step on them and scare the crap out of yourself. You like to chat a lot with your pal Carcat, who is usually pretty cranky, but he is your best friend. You have a lot of other great friends, who you also like a lot. Your troll tag is terminally capricious, and you speak in a manner that is just a little bit whimsical. What will you do? Gamzee, capture log bottle of Fago. Oh dear gosh. You snag a bottle of Fago. To consume the beverage is what your fellow devotees refer to as kickin' the wicked elixir. It is captulogged through your miracle modus. You have absolutely no idea how this thing works, and you don't want to know. Gamzee captulog computer. You take your husk top. Sometimes you like to pick stuff up and watch the collars. It's so beautiful. Life is beautiful. Gamesy, ride one-wheel device. You decide to give this diabolical contraption another shot. Maybe one of these days you will get more suited to your proportions. For now, this is all you have to work with. You just have to figure out how to stay on the thing without flying off the handle. You do some sort of aerobatic freaking pirouette off the handle and into a big pile of horns, which go honk. Gamesy, sample delicious pie cooling on the counter. It is still piping hot, but you can't help yourself. You sneak a taste of the super slime pie. You aren't supposed to eat that slime. It does funny things to a troll's head. But you were never taught that on account of a lousy upbringing. Your custodian was always out to sea. That's where he is now. Maybe you'll go outside and see if you can spot him. Gamesy, take a juggling club. You grab a juggling club. You'll need it if you're gonna go out. It's dangerous to leave unarmed. Gamesy, go outside. Are you back there? What am I waving this string around for? You leave your hive and head out to the beach. There's no sign of your custodian. You should not stay out here very long. The sea dwellers are quite hostile. Someone is bugging you. This is exciting. You're always down for shooting the wicked crap with anyone who will put up with you. Now only if you could figure out how to get your husk top out of this stupid thing. It'll be a miracle if you can manage. Gamesy, retrieve husk top. Oof. You say a short prayer to your beloved mirthful messiahs and splash a pinch of special stardust in your face. Launch. Your Skilledex launches your beverage far, far into the ocean. I wonder if you could just sort of reach over and Gamsey, answer troll. Gallows Calibrator, it's Teal, who says, hey Gamesy, you wanna play Gameses with me? And he says, hey, yeah, that sounds like we gotta come up with a different word. He's gonna be saying this forever. The freaking crap. Bench tits. And she says, angry face with slanty mouth. And says, it sure is hard to ignore the weird things you say sometimes. But I'm gonna. The only reason I'm asking you is because your name is like game and no other reason. Get it? And he says, oh, wow. I heard of worse freaking reasons to be getting all about to do something. Smiley face honk. And she says, no, that should bother you, that reason. Why don't things like that bother you? No wonder Vantus can't stand you. But who cares about him? We're gonna have some freaking crappy benches playing together. Or whatever you said. And he said, so is this the game I've heard about? The big mystery? And she says, yeah. And he says, well, okay, this is gonna be freaking insane. But can we play a little later? I'm outside keeping an eye out here for the old goat. You know how it is with family. And she says, no, not really. A dirt. And he says, oh yeah. And she says, dirt. Way to go. How does that stupid bottled syrup of yours taste with your hoof so far up your mouth? Angry eyebrows, smiley face. He says, sorry. Anyway, I'll go inside in a while. Why don't you get Carcat to fire up that fricker with you? He likes games. And she says, oh no. Gosh, can you imagine all the benching and moaning? I used to try and play stuff with him, but wow, did I learn my lesson. And he says, alright, well, I'll try to get in and get up on my chill real soon, and we can play. Just give me a minute. And she says, bullcrap. You know you're just going to sit there on the beach and space out and lose track of time. Hello? Games? And he says, what? Oh man, sorry. I spaced out. Do you know how beautiful the sound of the ocean is? Have you ever even seen the ocean? Or, I mean, smelled it? Sorry. Said, angry eyebrows, frowny face. Carcat, get some programming done. Finally, some peace and quiet. Now you can bear down on your coding. This will surely last all evening, without interruption. You reopen one of your Ath projects you started recently. You're still horsing around the conditions for terminating the loops. What many Ath coders do is import finite constructs and bind the loops to their lifespan. For instance, the main loop here will terminate on the death of the universe, labeled U. That way, you only have to wait billions of years for it to end instead of forever. You've bound a subloop to the lifespan of the code's author, which is you. Any routine at the end will execute when you die. You figure this might be handy for coding something to release a final will and testament, or maybe some doomsday virus. You spend a lot of time thinking of ways to make the perfect doomsday virus. Conveniently absent from the Ath's extensive import library are entries with short lifespans. Like a rapidly decaying particle that only lasts a millisecond sure would be handy, or even a fruit fly or something. But no, coding with this language is all about finding ways to trick it into doing what you want. Your hacker buddy is obnoxiously good at it. He sent you some files, which you still don't understand. But you're not going to admit that. He is even better at making viruses than you, which really gets stuck in your nook. All his friends are Apocalypse Arisen, Audios Torador, Twin Armageddons, himself for some reason, Arsenic Catnip, Grim, Auxilitrix, Gallows Calibrator, Arachnid's Grip, Centaur's Testicle, Lovely, Terminally Capricus, Calculus, Aquarium, and Cuttlefish Color. Carcat, check out one of his files. Bifurcate this. This code, when executed, immediately causes the user's computer to explode and places a curse on the user forever, along with everyone he knows and everyone he'll ever meet. Not surprisingly, later on, you would run this code in a fit of stupidity. You don't know why he does stuff like this. What does this even mean? It's nonsense. Is it even syntactically viable? Are you allowed to color text like that? Maybe you should ask him about it sometime. Oh, speak of the devil. Here he is bugging you about something. Time to put on your game face and pretend you don't think very highly of his abilities. Carcat, extra troll. It's yellow. It says, KK, don't flip your crap about this, but I'm setting you up to play a game with some people. And he says, why would I flip my crap about that? And Yellow says, because you flip your crap about everything. And Carcat says, well, will you look at this? Here is my crap, and yet it remains unflipped. Just sitting there on the skillet, getting burned on one side. It's a miracle. And Yellow says, oh no, are you into miracles now too? Because if you are, you're fired preemptively from the game. And Carcat says, frick no. And Yellow says, okay, nice. And Carcat says, miracles are like poop stains on God's underwear. And Yellow says, making fun of people's religion is the best thing to do. Carcat says, that's why he hides them, they're freaking embarrassing. God launders in mysterious ways. And Yellow says, right on, but let's shut our mouth a second and talk about this game. It'll only be a second, really, and you don't have to do much. Carcat says, okay, good, because I'm pretty busy tonight. What is this thing anyway, with all the secrecy? And Yellow says, well, the short story is that it's an immersive simulation that you play with a group. The long story is that the fate of our civilization depends on us playing it. I guess the long one was shorter than the short one. Frick! Which he says in all caps. Carcat says, that sounds like melodramatic bullcrap, but coming from you, color me unsurprised. And Yellow says, screw you, Vantis, this crap more real than Kraft rub sauce. And Carcat says, right, okay, so you made this game? And Yellow says, no, more like I adapted it. And Carcat says, what? From what? And Yellow says, some crazy technology AA dug out of some ruins. Haven't you talked to her about it? And Carcat says, man, no, I can't talk to her, she's so spooky. I don't know why. Most of our friends are such weirdos. Yellow says, probably it's because most trolls are. If you heard what I heard every night, I mean, wow, frick. And Karkat says, no, let's not talk about your weird mutant brain. And don't scan mine or whatever. It's off limits, you douche. And he says, I told you like a billion times, I can't do that. I can't do that, you nub slurping frick pod. And Karkat says, why are you two up to this secret stuff? Why haven't you told me anything about this? And Yellow says, KK, I'm sorry, but it really is kind of a private matter between me and her, and I'd appreciate it if that was respected. And Karkat says, oh gosh, stop being so sensitive. It's a repugnant quality. And Yellow says, okay, how about you take your own advice? You are such a blubbering hypocrite. You're lucky I'm so freaking magnanimous and charitable, because otherwise there's no chance I'd waste my time on you. Karkat says, what a load of crap, this act that you actually think you're a hotshot. You know you hate yourself. And Yellow says, nobody hates himself more than you, idiot. And Karkat says, well, I hate you way more than I hate myself, and that's freaking saying something. In fact, I hate you more than I hate myself, and you hate yourself, and you hate me combined. And Yellow says, oh, frick that noise in every leaking orifice it's got. You know I have the combined product of you and I hate the combined product of you and myself more than you could ever begin to hate me and myself and you and yourself on your worst day, so freaking deal with it. And Karkat says, okay, time out for the idiot. The idiot gets a timeout and shuts up for a second. That's you. Just tell me what to do about the game. And Yellow says, okay, well, I'll send you a download soon. I'm setting up 2 teams, like 2 separate competing teams, so that there's a better chance of at least one group winning. And also, I guess, 2, see which one can win faster. And Karkat says, okay, let me guess. There's a red team and a blue team, right? And Yellow says, yeah, you're in the red team. I will be the leader of the blue. And then Karkat says, okay, then I guess I can pick my teammates then? And Yellow says, bro, you're not the red team leader. I picked GC for that. Karkat says, what? 100 exclamation points? And Yellow says, dude, I do not think you'd be interested in this. Don't act all offended. Karkat says, oh, wow, now I see. Really freaking clever. Picking the blind girl to lead the team you're competing with. I knew you were cheater low-life freaking scumbag with no scruples or self-esteem and were basically worthless on every level, but somehow I'm still disappointed in you. And Yellow says, yeah, I'm such an idiot for not rewarding your bubbly personality and impeccable people skills with a leadership gig. What an inconsiderate, knuckle-sponged butthole I have been. It's too many streams. Karkat says, I lost my place. I am a hatched leader and you know it. And Yellow says, I know that your filthy seed flap is fluttering in the profane breeze that's shooting out of your mouth, shooting out of your stinking meat tunnel. I do know that much. Karkat says, how do you get out of your cocoon in the morning knowing you're the worst thing a universe was ever responsible for? Also, it must be hard with your hands to persistently bothering every mutated set of genitals peppering that ghastly husk you pawn off as a body. Has a female ever looked at you without once turning skyward and doing something really gross? Answer me that. And Yellow says, this is so mature, I'm basically just laughing here at how immature you are. Like, I really give a frick about who the red leader is. You want to be the leader? Fine, talk with Teal about it. And Karkat says, I guess these conversations we have do get kind of embarrassing in retrospect. Are we not friends anymore because of that stuff I said? And Yellow says, he literally asks you that every time. Are you joking? I can't even tell anymore. And Karkat says, it's a joke, moron. Honestly, I'm just glad nobody else is privy to our conversations. Actually, why don't we just make a pact to delete this one from our logs? I'm just shuddering here, scrolling up and reading this. And Yellow says, yeah, okay. Grumble. Sounds like someone downstairs is getting pretty crabby. This is not an encounter you're looking forward to. You'll probably put it off as long as you can manage. Why, who's this young lady? Enter name. Your name is Terzi Pyrope. You are pretty enthusiastic about dragons, but you have a particular affection for their colorful scales, which you gather and use to decorate your hive. Though you live alone, deep in the woods, you surround yourself with a variety of plushy pals known as scale mates. You often spend your days with them in rounds of live-action role-playing. You used to engage in various forms of more extreme role-playing with some of your other friends before you had an accident. You take an interest in justice, holding a particular fascination for orchestrating the demise of the wicked. You've taken up study of brutal Alternian law and surround yourself with legal books. You have no need for copies printed in troll braille because you can smell and taste the words. You hope one day to join the honorable ranks of legislators. Legislators? There's violence in there. Your troll tag is Gallows Calibrator, and you speak with the numerals the blind prophets once used. You are presently the leader of the red team, poised to begin a mysterious game with 5 other friends, in direct competition with another 6 of your friends, comprising the blue team. What will you do?